What rods do I have? Why do I use them? What do I use them for? Welcome back, everybody. I hope everybody's staying warm right now. Today's video is going to basically be indoors because it's dropping in temps. We got crazy winds. I would be fishing if it was just really cold, like it's like 20 something below, but we've also got like 30 mile, 40 mile an hour winds today. So even setting up a hub and just staying put, it would be really hard. So we're going to get into a simple video today on what you guys, a lot of you guys and a lot of people just basically ask me on a regular basis is, what rods do I have? Why do I use them? What do I use them for? I'm going to try and help some of you guys out pick out your next rods. I am in no way sponsored by any rod companies yet. But enough of that. I mean, as much as I would love to use somebody's rods on a regular basis, I mean, I really have to enjoy using a product. So there's not a whole lot of companies out there right now that would be like, here, use my rod, and then risk me saying something negative about it. Because I'm not going to lie to you guys, I don't have any reason to lie to you guys. I like fishing, I like enjoying my equipment, and I like stuff that does what it's supposed to do. Whether it's a $20 rod or a $100 rod. I don't care how much I got to spend on it, as long as it does what it's supposed to do. So let's get into it. I'm going to start with the types of rods I have and kind of how I bring them out and carry them around, and then we'll go down from there on like why I have them and what I'm using them for specifically. Okay, so some of you guys might already know. So I have two rod cases. That's an old one. It's been broken, beaten, and bruised, but somehow it still stays shut, and I like it because it holds just the right amount of short rods that I need. As you can see, it's not as long as this Otter Sportsman's case, which I believe is 40 inches long. I think it's actually like 39 on the inside. Don't quote me on that, so I don't, like I said, I don't actually know. But let's get into the rods that I actually have. Okay, so right now I kind of have this case. This is the Otter case. It's kind of set up right now as like my panfish load up. You know, basically all my stuff that's designed more specifically for chasing panfish, which if you guys follow the channel for any amount of time, you know that that's something I chase a lot of. A lot of people talk down on them, but it's a lot harder to find a 10-inch bluegill than it is a 5-pound bass, and I still haven't found a 5-pound bass, if that says anything. But yeah, let's get into details. That one is actually going to be that's more of a heavy action rod, so we'll go over these four right here. Okay, so what we'll do here is we'll kind of go from the cheapest to like my favorite rod, and it's not because somebody paid me to say that, it's because I've literally I don't know, I've caught every kind of fish on it that I can imagine accidentally catching on it when I'm pan fishing. So like I said, we'll start with the cheap one. This right here is kind of a Frankenstein actually, because I don't know if you can see that. I don't know if, yeah. So that's a Frabill. This is a 26-inch light action, and it says 2 to 6 pound, I'm going to guess, for line. This came with a little plastic reel on it. It was a combo. This, if I remember right, because this is a really old rod. If you know, I'll go over this stuff. I built this setup for my specifications. I've been ice fishing for a long time. But one of the things I'll tell you though was, I think with the plastic reel and the combo and pre-line ready to go fishing, I want to say it was $24. So for $24, if you guys want to get out fishing, that's all you need. Start. Go out there fishing. Go to anywhere, you know, that holds or does sale, you know, sells these combos and buy them. I go with Lakeside Bait and Tackle because they're one of my local bait shops, and he's got a ton of combos like this where for 24 to 30 bucks you can get out on the ice and get going. I'm gonna tell you the details of this, and I'm gonna just kind of zoom in and show you the actual details of it so you understand what I'm talking about. Okay, so as I was stating, I kind of Frankenstein this rod. You can see there's duct tape, there's actually glue and epoxy underneath that. This reel didn't come on this rod. Like I said, it was a cheap plastic one.
this isn't an expensive reel or anything like that. This was on a different combo. So I'm big on saving money at all times. So if you guys need, you have questions or whatever on like specifications, but like for instance, this I believe this was a reel off of Gander Mountain like blowout when they went out of business. I just bought a bunch of their combos because they had these. This is metal, this is composite or whatever. This folds down still. It's got a decent stem length on it. It's still not a super long stem, but it's a decent length. It's got a decent drag. I rebuilt some of the interior or internals of that to make it work my way. But like I said, that's a Frabill combo rod that I had. And then what I did is, this is just a spring bobber. Here, let me unhook this real quick. Okay, so as you can see, this didn't come on here. So this, this is just a regular, I think this is what did I say? It's a medium light. No, this is a light action. So like that tip is actually a very light action tip. And this was like an original investment for like building a panfish rod. And if I can get that to settle, you can see this is just a tiny little tungsten jig, probably a 3 mil. But if you watch, if I lift up on the tungsten jig, you can see the up bite. If I pull lightly, you can see the down bite. That's just another type of spring bobber. It's considered a wire spring bobber. This was orange. I put that little black dot on there just to give it some contrast, and I bent it this way. So there's like, this was just a piece of wire, and I built that arch in it and then bent it with like a little Z, and then I epoxied it to the actual rod itself, and then I taped over the epoxy after it dried just to make sure nothing moved. But this whole setup, I mean, that little piece right there is like $3 to $5. That was on another combo, so that was dirt cheap. That combo was like $25. It just happened to have a better reel on it than this combo came with. So to get started, I mean, $25, $30, and that's all you need. So that's the first one.
Okay, so that was that's like the cheapest you can get. I don't think you can get anything put together for any cheaper. Oh, and let me see if I have any laying around here. Yep. Okay, so all of my panfish rods have 4-pound P-line. Little quick tech tip here. See how this says new on it? So this one I bought brand new. I haven't used it yet. So I wrote new on it because I have boxes and boxes of line laying around everywhere, and I don't want to forget that that's the new spool, and looking and stuff like that when I'm trying to respool mine. Anyways, let's go on to the next one. It's another cheap one.
Okay, so obviously you can see this is the same reel that came on my other rod. Like I said, I bought a bunch of these combos, and they happen to have these decent reels in here. I had to do some drag system work. If you don't know how to do that, don't worry about it, but these have been working pretty good for a couple years now. This rod is a noodle type sight fishing rod. So this is kind of like replacing that spring bobber that you've seen, basically the evolution of it. And then this, let me see, this is a Beaver Dam. Let me see if I can flip it upside down for you guys. Yep, see, the Beaver Dam 28-inch glass noodle. And it is a, let me see if I can get that to focus. Nope, I can't get it to focus. It is an ultralight model. But basically, like I was showing you on the other one, so this has a light tip that goes into a good backbone about 4 inches down the tip, so that like when you're fishing or whatever, you're looking for the sight bite. If you have a heavy tungsten, it's holding it down. If it's holding it down like that, and a crappie comes in and upbites it, it'll straighten out. And then obviously, if they grab it and it pulls it down at all, I use this one for like my little bit heavier tungstens and stuff like that. Sometimes I'll put light spoons on there, really light spoons, like 1/32 ounce, and I mean 1/16 will work. But as far as rods go, that whole combo would have cost like $40 at most. And I actually got the combo, this Beaver Dam combo I got at Lakeside Bait and Tackle, so like you can check those rods out there. He's got a crazy amount of rods. Like if you walk in there, make sure you're ready to buy a rod because he's got a lot of them. And I guarantee you'll find a price point and a rod that you'll want to use. So let's get into the next one.
Okay, so this isn't like the other ones. It still has a fairly soft tip on it, so you can still get a sight kind of bite. Obviously it's black and white, and if you don't know who this is a whiteout from 13 Fishing. This specific one is a, what is it, 27-5, so a 27.5-inch medium light. So it's got a medium backbone, so like most of the way up you got the backbone, you can see it in there, but the front end is just light enough. And as you can see, I have a little spoon on here. I believe this is a Forage Minnow, and I think this is a 1/32 ounce. Don't quote me on that, I just know it's one of my littlest ones. But this tip can handle a lot of different baits, but more specifically I like to have it so that like when I'm loaded up with a decent spoon, and if I'm crappie fishing and they hit it, you still get the outbite, but more so that like when I'm fishing things like aggressive perch or bluegills or walleye or something like that, or even big crappie that hit hard, it's got the down flex bite, and it's got a good flex to it for head shakes and all that other stuff. This one is the standard combo, so that's a whiteout reel, whiteout rod. This one's actually pretty old. I don't even know if they make this style anymore. Like I said, I'm not sponsored by anybody. I just liked the way this rod worked, and I'm all about function, like I said, so I got it. I think it was broken actually when I bought it, and I got a good deal on it too. So like, if you guys see stuff in the store and it's kind of messed up or whatever, tell them to cut you a deal. They can put sales tax on it, whatever. They can save you money. This combo was probably $50 or something like that, or $60 when it was brand new. I think I paid $35 for it or something like that, or maybe $40. I don't like to spend a lot of money on stuff that I'm just throwing around in my boxes, and at the time I didn't really have anywhere to put this. So let's go into the last panfish rod here, and then I'll show you my other rods. Okay, last but not least, the creme de la creme, my favorite, and I have all this stuff linked below. This is a hand-built scenario. So I bought this rod almost 5 years ago now. This is a tuned-up custom bullwhip. Same idea as the other rod with the noodle tip, but much more sensitive with much longer, more drawn-out backbone. I really like this one because it is ungodly sensitive. So watch the tip. I'm gonna drop it's probably a 1/100th ounce jig. So there you can see it against the wall. So you can see it moving. It's really hard to see unless you're used to looking at it, but more so if you have anything heavier than this, like a 3mm tungsten, it'll have it sitting like that. And upbites on crappie are 99% of the time I can see them. This rod is a really hard one for me to miss fish on, and that's why I really like it. I've landed everything from 10-inch bluegills on here to 16-inch crappie to 36-inch northern pike. My personal best walleye, 28 inches, 8 pounds. 28 inches, 8 pounds. That was actually the first fish I think I got on here because I was out crappie fishing when I first got this. The simplest way to put this is, unless you guys really like fishing, and I mean really like fishing, I have this listed below if you want one. But this is an Abu Garcia Revo S10, and this is actually their old style. I have the new style on my other rod. When I go over that, I'll explain that to you too. But this is a 1000 series. I personally like the 750 series that they used to make a long time ago, and everybody kind of stopped making those for like an elite panfish series. So the 1000 is what I went with. This still has 4-pound test, but it's got this, they call it zero inertia drag system. So like if the drag's set right, like I don't have to pull very hard to even get that to roll. So by having that, you never have surge, or it's called drag surge, that's what it is. So like, you know, when you got a big northern pike, if you guys watched my northern pike video, go back and watch my sight fishing for northern pike. I caught 5, 6, 7 of them on here, 4-pound test, big noodle tip, kept them pinned and never had a problem because I trust this drag a lot. And that drag basically takes care of the fishing for you if you learn how to use it properly. So this is my baby. You know, if you guys want to duplicate it, you can. Obviously, I have this linked below, but you have to go on Tuned Up Customs website to order your own. This is obviously a split grip with a cork, EVA handle. I like the EVA just the way it feels more so. Plus it was a split grip, so I was more interested in having something to have my fingers on so I could feel the bite too, which is insane because it's a big noodle tip, but you can still feel that bite really good on here. So good overall rod. But that's enough of my panfish setup. I know you guys want to see my heavier rods, so let's get to those.
Okay, so as you see, I made use of my stand greatly. I have a video on how to build this thing too, like in-depth detail. I have measurements, everything you need. Just go back in my summer videos and you'll see on how to build that. But we're gonna go into these one by one. I'm actually gonna just leave out a couple of them. Like these two are exactly the same rod. That reel is actually a 13 fishing reel that I pulled off of another combo that I think I broke, and I just ended up throwing it back on this combo, which happens to be another whiteout. So these are both whiteouts, and they're both medium action on, what is it, 29.5, so 29.5-inch rods. So let's get into that.
Okay, so as I was stating, this is a medium action 29-inch, 29.5, almost 30. I was looking for 30, I couldn't find them. These were on a blowout sale, so I think I got them for 15 or 20 bucks a piece. Look for deals if you're trying to stock up on rods. Obviously, if you can't get a deal, get what you know works for you. Those are the major things you want to do. But this is what I'm talking about as far as, this is the exact same reel. It's the Revo S10, but they made them bigger and beefier for whatever reason. So the reason I got the other one was because for ice fishing, the size of it was overall smaller. This one I ended up getting because I wanted a walleye reel, and it was actually for one of my summer rods that I like to use. I used to use my other one, but I would have to take the 4-pound test off to put my 6-pound test or 8-pound test on to go walleye fishing. So I bought another one, and if you look in the description, you know these aren't cheap. I don't lie, these are not cheap. These are investments. I very carefully saved up money to pay for them. I will show you, this is the box you're looking for, and here are the specs right here. If I can get them to focus. This is the new box actually, so this is what you'll actually end up being looking for if you're looking for the specs on this one. So this is what I'm showing you right now. Like I said, not cheap. So if you want one, you have to pay to play. $20 rod, good backbone. So this is a medium. So I can really drive the hook home, and when I'm walleye fishing, now imagine that's like if that was a you could have like a 30-inch walleye on here throwing some big head shakes at you, and see how I don't ever lose the backbone, but it keeps it pinned with the head shakes. That's the big thing you're looking for when you're looking for a walleye rod. That's why I bought this rod. And that's why I paired it with such an expensive reel, because realistically, you need to have the drag and the proper, proper setup to get a good hook set and to play a fish properly so you can land them. Obviously, you can use a $10 rod and a $20 reel and bring in fish. That is the truth. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. But I will tell you right now, this setup has landed me a lot of big walleye already. First open water when I had it on there, and then the luxury is it's got 6-pound test on it already, so I just threw it on this rod, which I had laying around. And if you look over here, I actually have like 3 or 4 other spare rods for ice fishing. They're mainly for my iFish Pros, which I'll get to in a second. But for instance, I have a video where I was out fishing. It was like, actually, I think it was last month already. But I was fishing these Rippin' Raps, and this is the rod I was using the whole time. I mean, the fun part was I was actually catching crappie and walleye on it, and it works fine for that. And it's one of my, like I said, it's one of my simple favorite rods to use, just basically because of the reel. So if you guys are looking for something quality, I have to say the only thing I don't like about these 13 fishing rods is these the guides. The guides are tiny. They like to freeze up, and yeah, if they were bigger, this would be a perfect setup. But that's the one thing I have to knock down about it. Other than that, I mean, you just back reel this to unscrew it, set that down, set it in your rod case. Now you don't break your handle on your expensive reel, and you're ready to go. So very, very functional setup. Let's go over the last couple real quick here. I don't want to make you guys wait any longer, but I'm hoping this helps you guys out. I really do. It's really just an inconvenient week to film outside, so I'm going to try and help you guys out with these videos. Okay, last but not least, these are this is my dead stick rod setup. As I said before, I have multiple rods for my iFish Pros just sitting around because I like the ability to really change rods up and all that other stuff, and then I also have backup jigging sticks over here. But the main thing here is we're gonna go simple and then right through my two basic iFish Pro setups, so you guys understand when you get an iFish Pro how simple it is to get a good setup going. And obviously there's tons of options out there, not just mine, but this is the basic one. This isn't iFish Pro, but this is your dead stick. So slip bobber, sinker, bead, hook, another Frabill combo. This is a light one, so this one, honestly, if I was gonna redo this, I would try and find a medium for my dead stick. But the nice thing is like, if I hook into a big walleye, they can really still give me head shakes. It's short, so I can keep it right next to me in my ice house. So when I'm fishing in my ice house, my jigging rods are longer, but my dead stick rod I like to have right here, like right next to me. And the reason for that, versus a lot of people will put it farther away from them for whatever reason with a longer dead stick, is because when you're bringing up a big fish on a dead stick, it's nice to be able to get down on your hands and knees, get down on your knees and be able to grab that fish really quickly if it's hooked on a dead stick, because sometimes you don't get a good hook set or whatever, like because they've just eaten a live minnow. And that's the basic thing for the dead stick. And this is a permanent one. I taped the crap out of that. This reel actually got destroyed by a lake trout the second day I had it, so I had to rebuild it. And then, I mean, it works, but it's iffy. So basically I designated this rod as my dead stick rod. And total cost, I mean, like I said, these were like $25 combos. This was a $35 reel, and it's a decent Cardinal, but I mean, the Laker really smoked that thing. If any of you guys ever caught lake trout on 4-pound test, you'll understand what I mean by smoke that thing. All right, real quick, we're gonna go right into these. No cuts, no nothing. This is the combo I bought from Gander Mountain that had those other reels on it. This reel is a 2500 series. I believe this is the Advocate, and I do have these listed in almost all of my, actually no, I think I have this listed in all of my summer videos. So if you go back and look through my summer videos in the descriptions, these ones will be listed in there. I've been using Advocates for open water on my ugly stick rods for probably 10-15 years now. They're just a good rod or reel. They're beefy, they got good handles, pretty basic but good drags. Nothing real special about them, but they feel solid. The new ones are like the RZTs. That's what I have. It's a black one instead of silver. But as far as like your iFish Pros are, this is a 32-inch medium heavy action rod. So this rod, you see how hard I'm pulling on this? That's one of my default iFish Pro rods. So real good, stiff, heavy action. I don't, I would never hesitate to stick a big sucker minnow on the end of this rod and really drive the hook home on a northern pike on my iFish Pro. Always keep it set up. It's like I said, it's a 2500 series. I know guys that use 3500 series. This is a 2500 series 6-pound test. I don't have a problem landing fish, so this is one of the ones that works out for the iFish Pro. Medium heavy 32-inch rods. I mean, this rod literally, rod and reel combo, when I bought it as they were going out of business, was like $15. And this is part of that combo where I was saying that the reel on those other rods came on this rod, and then all I did was stick my big open water reel on there. This one I specifically bought this way, and I got lucky as I was actually at a rummage sale. I won't even lie. And this rod, I don't think you can buy anymore. I think these are extinct. That, or they might make a specialty series or something like that. But this is a Mitchell Bushmaster rod. I think they were made in the 90s or the late 80s. This is a 36-inch, and it says BR 36-inch S. So I don't even know what that means. I just picked them up at the rummage sale because I was playing with it, and it's like a medium heavy, but it's a 36-inch rod, and it's got, so when you put the reel on it, it's got this butt. And I heard a story about these being for like hiking back into the woods or like creek fishing. So like you have a short rod for open water fishing, but the thing is this literally sits in that pole holder perfectly and holds the rod out just where you need it to be. My actually last video that I did with iFish Pros, this is the one that I had the crazy run on. So if you guys want to go see that. But this is the Abu Garcia, or Abu Garcia. I'm so used to my Abu. This is an Okuma bait feeder reel, and this one is a beastie one. It's the ABF 40B, so that's the 4000 series. As you can see, pretty monstrously. It's got the, the bait feeder back here, which allows you to, whatchamacallit. So it's got front drag and then a rear drag. So when you flip this, here, I'm going to hold on to this. Oh, it won't let me do it when it's under load, but so when you flip this back, it turns this drag off and turns this one on. So I just leave this all the way down, and when the fish go to take it, I want to show you guys this one in person real quick here. So I flip that off. See how that works? And then you come up, this is folded down right now, but you just reel forward, it shuts it off, and now you're on the front drag. And that's how a bait feeder works. That is what I would prefer, but these aren't cheap either. I can stick this in the description if you guys want me to. I'll do that just so you guys can, you know, choose this one or like the 2500 series, or I think they make a 35. But I would love to stick this. I have 4 of these rods. Like I said, I got lucky at that rummage sale, and it was literally like I could buy 1 or buy all 4, and I just bought all 4. So now I have my iFish Pro rods, and I'm set. And I can bring in some big fish. I brought some big fish on these rods, and this is 12-pound test P-line. I don't ever have a problem running anything this. If it's this heavy, I can bring anything in on it. So that's the gist of the iFish Pro rods. So, like I have said, I hope this helps a lot of you guys out. I was gonna go into detail on like the baits and lures and all that stuff, but I'll try and keep that into the videos. So when I'm using a rod, I will try to remember to, you know, I was gonna go through all of these for you guys, but like it would take forever, and that would be a whole nother video. So we'll just keep it simple. I'll add that into all the different videos whenever I'm out on the ice. Whatever I'm using, I'll try to describe it better for you guys. I know you guys want that. I know I'm bad at it. It's really hard to describe stuff when I'm fishing because I kind of get this zone going, and I gotta focus. I gotta catch the fish. I gotta bring them topside. I hope you guys enjoy the fish coming topside as much as I do, but running out of breath. I'm going to just say it quick here. If you're not new here, you know what's up. But if you're new here, please just remember to